Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Inside Golf. I'm Harry Donahue, and today we're in Mount Laurel, New Jersey at the Golf Performance Institute. This institute was started by physical therapists, but it's to help golfers get their bodies in the right shape so that they can go out there and perform on the golf course. It's a one-of-a-kind center. What does it offer? Stay with us. It offers a lot, and we'll be back to show you right here on Inside Golf.
Inside Golf, presented by Destination Montco Golf. 54 courses, 300,000 yards. Check them out at montcogolf.com. By Jersey Man Magazine, it's a Jersey way of life, and Philly Man Magazine, bringing it to Broad Street. And by the Philadelphia Section PGA, experts in the game and business of golf.
Along with being stewards of the game of golf, your local PGA professional wears many hats.
We are teachers.
We are players.
We are managers.
We are merchandisers.
And community leaders.
But we all wear one badge.
PGA professionals are well-trained experts who work hard to share the joy of golf with our neighbors for over 90 years. To find your local PGA professional, visit phillypga.com. Brought to you by the Philadelphia Section of the PGA.
We are the experts in the game and business of golf.
Welcome back to Inside Golf, and we are here at the Golf Performance Institute in Mount Laurel. This is the CEO, co-founder, Brett Michener. Brett, first of all, thanks for having us here. And let me see, how would I describe Golf Performance Institute? We see golf here in the background. We see a lot of physical therapy, training devices in another area of your building. It's a merger of the two, isn't it?
It is. And I think the best way to describe it is to kind of ask the question, what's the number one thing as an amateur golfer that you're not doing to positively affect your game? And that really comes down to what your body is doing and not doing. If you can't control what your body's doing in that complete motion that the golf swing is, you have little chance of putting a good swing plane and a good club face at impact together.
So if you're learning the game of golf, it's not just a golf swing, it's also taking care of your body and getting your body ready to do what your golf instructor wants you to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's equivalent of having a meal with your food just on the table that you have not set. There's no plate, there's no spoon, there's no fork. You haven't set the table for a full body motion, a true plyometric motion, equivalent to throwing a shot put. Swinging a club 100 miles an hour takes a lot of effort, and to reproduce that, get your club where you want it every single time and repeat that takes quite a bit out of your body.
Now, as I look around the facility, I see it's not just older folks, people whose maybe body isn't what it used to be. You have a lot of young junior players in here who are really getting an advanced treatment as to how they should keep their body toned up and allowing it to do what they want to do once they get out there.
Yeah, absolutely. We have found in our first year, which we just celebrated our first year on December 15th, which was a great milestone for us. We survived the first year. But we have a lot of our juniors who encompass 75% of our business right now. And that's not necessarily us marketing to them. They found us because they're looking for an edge. They're looking for ways to get better. There's baseball, basketball, football camps, tennis camps. You can find them everywhere in every city across America. But golf, the way we deliver it, just doesn't really exist.
And the best players in the world are doing the same thing, right? What are the statistics as the number of tour players who have their own physical trainers working with them almost 7 days a week?
Yeah. It's 21 out of the top 23 on the tour. I mean, that's a staggering statistic that you have a hard time arguing. And you look at the body shapes compared to the 80s, compared to today.
Yeah,
the guys
I look at the body shapes all the time. Huh? What do they talk about the flat bellies, right?
That's right.
And now everybody wants to have a flat
right.
belly. I had a full joint replacement on my right shoulder. I couldn't touch the top of my head before I had it. Now I have a pretty good range of motion. But for 2 or 3 years before that, I mean, I was really suffering out there. My swing kept getting shorter and shorter. Now, I'm not saying everybody that comes here is in the same condition, but I'm sure you've seen people who, with a combination of what you're doing and maybe their golf pro with instructions, all of a sudden, their range of motion and their swing and the distance they're getting as a result are much improved.
Yeah, it's returning to the swing that you used to have. You know, a lot of us who have been playing for 30, 40 years, well, that swing has changed. It's gotten shorter. We have injuries. We have things that really need to be affected from the biomechanical side, which is what physical therapy does. That's our hammer. That's our main component and our main contribution to the game of golf is saying, hey, your biomechanics aren't where they used to be. Let's see if we can't correct them and get them closer to back to where they used to be so you can still have the same success you had 20 years ago.
Let's see what is available to you if you want to get involved with the Golf Performance Institute. You're going to serve as our tour guide. You know everything that's here, right? You're going to show us around what these people are doing in the background and in other stages of the facility. So we'll do that when we come back. Our look at the Golf Performance Institute of Mount Laurel continues here on Inside Golf in just a moment.
At the first tee, they're teaching us how to set goals. It doesn't matter how big or small they are.
I want to break 80 someday.
My goal is to go to college.
Someday, I'm going to be the 4th female president of the United States. Maybe 5th.
Some of the best golf lessons have very little to do with golf. The life skills young people learn at the first tee stay with them long after they leave. Visit thefirsttee.org to learn more.
One of my goals is to get on TV. Check.
Welcome back to Inside Golf. Today we're at the Golf Performance Institute in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Brett Michener is the CEO, and he took us through the history of GPI, and now we're really going to get to the nitty-gritty. The first thing a person walks off the street, I walk off the street today, say, Brett, I need all kinds of help, okay? I know what you do here, but what's the first thing you're going to do to me?
Well, the first thing we need to determine is what you can and can't do. We know
physically.
Okay. We know what's required of the golf swing, and we have the testing through the Untitled Performance Institute to say, here's the gold standards, here's the motions that are required. We'll see if you can do some of them.
Right, okay. Now we have Beth Bartholomew, one of your trainers here, and we have Sean, local high school student who is part of the program. So what's Beth going to do to Sean first?
So Beth is going to take him through 3 of our core movements of the screen. This first one, you'll see he's in a traditional 5-iron stance.
Right.
And from here, he's going to try to pelvic tilt. So it's an anterior tilt and a posterior pelvic tilt. So
now, I never did that when I had a 5-iron in my hand. What are you looking for there?
So a couple important things is, can he get into a neutral spine? We know that is the premier position to get into set up to the golf ball. There's nothing more important than posture. The second thing we're looking at is how far can he translate anterior, posterior, and can he control that motion? So some of that ratcheting, that shaking motion that you're seeing a little bit with him is a little bit of core weakness. Now, a little unfair to Sean. If we give him a little chance to warm up, he'll be able to do this in a little smoother motion.
It looks pretty good to me.
Yeah.
If I did that, all of a sudden I'd be on my way to the local hospital here. Okay, good job, Sean. All right, what's step number 2 for Beth and Sean here?
So number 2, we're going to look at upper body rotation.
Okay.
So the 2 main things we're looking for here is, can Sean go the distance that's required in the thoracic spine to get a good rotation?
What are we looking at, 90 degree?
At least 45.
Okay.
And he's past that because he's been here training with us. But if we see deficits here, we know that you're going to continue with that rotation and you're going to steal it from somewhere else, usually our lumbar spine. And that we know over time leads to back pain. Okay. And that's the killer of all scores and really limits the amount of rounds you're probably going to play in your career. If you start having back pain,
yeah, look at
that's it.
Some of the best players in the world, right? A lot of torque put on that back.
That's right.
When they come through that swing at 120 miles an hour.
That's right.
All right, step number 3, Beth. What do we got here?
So our last test that we're going to look at here is a pelvic rotation. So again, we're looking at range of motion, but here we're also looking at his ability to separate upper body, lower body. This is the reason that Ricky Fowler at 150 pounds can average 306, 309 on the tour. It has very little to do with weight. It's separation. It's the equivalent of pulling back a slingshot and then having the ability to let it go and stabilize.
All in the pelvic region.
Yeah. Have to be able to control it and have to move it on demand.
Now, he's a high school student. What about, someone my age, all right? I mean, it's not that easy for me after I don't care how many sessions to get into the range of motion that he has, or is it? Or you can at least work a little bit to get it close to where he's going.
Absolutely.
Really?
Age is not a determining factor on how much you can move and how strong you can get. Those are things that we always have the ability to improve over time. Now, shoulder replacements, knee replacements, back issues, those are things we're going to need to accommodate.
Whatever.
Arthritis. But that's one of the reasons that my partner Steve and I stepped into this place in golf is there are no physical therapy experts that are really delivering this to the amateur population. And we play a key component there.
Okay.
So very different issues than Sean has. Usually at this level, we're trying to rein them in rather than get them to move more.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, we got another exercise or evaluation.
So this is our overhead deep squat. We're looking at multi-segment range of motion here and also gross core strength. So if he doesn't have the core strength, that bar is going to come forward.
Right.
He's not going to be able to squat as low.
No.
And we have modifications of this test depending on how you can achieve this. Again, did very well with this test. Most people off the street are going to fail
Why
this
is youth
test.
wasted on the young? That's what I want to know, huh? Sean, you really did your job there. Well done. That's pretty good stuff. All right, Brett and I have moved over, transitioned to one of the simulator bays. You have 3 of them. And we have David here in the background. What's he working on right now?
So David's working on a combination of weight shifting, pelvic rotation, getting that weight back, but not too far back, and making sure that lower body's coming through first.
Okay. David, we heard the explanation. Now show it. Yeah, no pressure at all. Okay, now I have monitors and David can see where his ball went. That look all right, David? Everything okay?
Not great.
Not great? Not terrible, as I like to say.
Not terrible.
Not terrible. Okay. Now,
So the data that's popping up right
Yeah.
there, which we can go back to, he can see everything that ball's doing. Spin rates, trajectory, rollout, where it hit the ground and how far it rolled out, which is an important statistic that you really only get with a flight monitor like this because you can't get it out. You can guesstimate how far it's rolling out, but it's nice to have that real average as one of those other choices for when you select a club.
all right, David, give us another swing. And there it is, nice little draw. Is that what you were trying to do? Yeah?
That's my normal.
Yeah, that little cascading draw, I like to call that. What kind of handicap do you carry these days?
12.
12. All right. Well, a couple more weeks here, and he'll be down to what? A 9 in time for the opening of the golf season.
That's right, single digits.
There you go. Okay, we're still in the simulator, Brett, and this is Liam, and Liam is a college golfer.
Yes.
And he's trying to get better like everybody else. What's he particularly working on right now in this exercise?
So in Liam's case, you'll see we have quite a different problem. He's got all the motion that we need, being a young, healthy college student. And for him, we're really working on sequence, some of those smaller motions, separating upper body, lower body, really keeping a stable base and getting that pelvis out in front first.
Rather than leading with the shoulders or the upper body.
Correct.
Okay, so like they used to say, the swing begins from the ground up. So you're looking here, Liam's trying to concentrate on keeping that upper body stationary and leading with the pelvis.
Allowing that ground reaction force to start and his swing to start at his feet where he's driving off that right leg. And you can see, if you really pay attention, slow that down a little bit, you'll see he wants, in the worst way, to lead with that upper body. And that's something we're really working with him to correct and get him in the correct sequence. Because he can obviously develop the swing speed, but it's more about a sequence and firing the right things at the right time with him.
Now, eventually, you hope that it comes automatically, right?
That's right. We're trying to groove that in, so that's his new swing. It no longer becomes a swing thought, and ultimately it's about, I'm thinking about wind direction. I'm thinking about the spot I want to hit on the green, not swing mechanics.
I'm not worried about where my pelvis is.
If you're doing out there in competition, you're in trouble.
All right, Brett, we've moved over to another bay and another student, and what's going on here with Colin?
And this is the capstone to our evaluation. We also use this as a training tool. This is K-Vest. It's a 3D motion capture system. And what we're trying to look at here is where are his body parts moving in real time, real speed. So at 200 frames per second, which the naked eye cannot see, I can dial it in and say, you have this much pelvic rotation in your backswing, down to the degree. This also, another major component of this, we're able to look at how efficient Colin is swinging the golf club.
Right. He's all wired up.
All wired up.
And if we look at this little monitor over here, it's like a 3D picture of his body. That's him making those moves. He doesn't have a blue vest on like I do, so I like that vest. But Colin, take a couple swings there. Nice finish. Okay, so by looking into this monitor down here, what can we determine how efficient that swing was for Colin?
We can go over here and look at our graphs. So There is a ton, absolute ton of information within this programming. So the short end of it is we're looking, our benchmarks are the PGA or LPGA if we have a female student. These are the ranges. There is no one set swing. We are not trying to create a mechanical swing. This is what Colin is doing. This is what we're going to try to work with. But we are going to try to dial him in a little bit to get within these PGA Tour ranges because these are the best players in the world and the most consistent.
Okay, so this says -4 closed. In layman's terms, what does that tell us?
So this means that he is closed off to the target. So it's open or closed basis, on the basis of the target. Right. So his pelvis should be a little bit more open, a little bit more facing, open to the target line. And he's 2 degrees, not a huge correction for him. And if we put him in that correct position, he probably wouldn't notice it much.
Okay.
Now what we see over here where he's 1 degree, we have a 6 degree discrepancy in turn. Now this is upper body rotation. So he is going to notice this because he's only 1 degree open to the target, meaning he's pretty square to that ball, and we really want him to be here. Okay. We really want those shoulders a little more open to the target.
So he's got to open up a little bit.
Correct.
Okay.
And why that's important, for many reasons, the top 2 is rotating into the backswing. If you're already closed, now you've started here, and you have to come here and then come back to here. So he may have the tendency to limit his upper body rotation within the backswing. So if we open him up a little bit more, we put him in a little better position.
Any more information you can scroll down to get for us there?
Yeah, the nice thing here, Colin's all green. That bar means that he's within those PGA ranges that we saw there.
Okay.
Side bend here. This is side bend at the top of the swing of the pelvis. So this is this motion. All right. So again, 2 degrees out. We're not going to get too crazy about that because I bet you if we correct his setup posture, that's going to fall in line for us.
Gotcha.
Same with upper body turn. This is saying, and this is what we'll pretty much only see in our junior population, where he's over-rotated in the upper body.
Guys like me, we're not getting there.
Right, exactly, which is usually not a problem. So you see the effect of it though, here at impact, he's under-rotated. Oh, because again, you have that 1 second for your golf swing. So if you went too far, chances are you're not going to get back to a great impact position.
Well, we're going to take a little break from Colin and the 3D monitor to bring up next our 3 panelists. Teed off, it's coming up here on Inside Golf.
We're rolling out the action and bringing it all to the table. So go all in with endless ways to win. Join us for the area's hottest happy hour with double the action at half the price. Only at Valley Forge Casino Resort.
Welcome back. Inside Golf continues now with our teed off panel. We're here to talk about some golf topics at the beautiful Valley Forge Casino Resort. Today's panel includes Bob Shepard, Philadelphia professional for years, an author and a big contributor to Inside Golf.
Thanks, Harry.
Joe Logan is the man who puts out myphillygolf.com. You want to know what's going on locally, nationally, internationally in the game of golf? Follow myphillygolf.com. And Jack Conley, former president, PGA of America, longtime pro here in the Philadelphia area, currently great ambassador at North Hills Country Club. Fellas, the question is, as we get this season underway, 2016, looking ahead to the 4 majors, is there another major in the bag for Tiger Woods? And we don't know. This guy's been battling injuries more than anything else, Shep. He's up there. He's holding on 14 now for about, 8 or 9 years?
Yeah, it seems like a long time.
What do you think? Is there one left?
I don't know. You get 40 is a rough number. That starts to make things imaginary, I think, in a while. He is so good in the past that to match that, even to play well now, with that in his mind, has got to be a little bit of a deterrent. He's just so good. But the problem is, I just think he's overtrained to the point where he's worn out. And I don't mean ability-wise. I just think his body can't take it anymore. He went at it too hard for too many years. I mean, I remember Byron Nelson saying that when he was a kid. He said if he keeps going at it like that, he won't play golf past 30. And he made it to 40, which is just a testament to him. But it's a difficult game for longevity. And you got to look at your Sneads. And then you got to look at a guy like Hogan who got hit by a truck. I mean, he couldn't play after that either. So Tiger basically looks like he's been hit by a truck. His legs are going, his back's going, and he's had some personal problems too. But forget that altogether. I think physically has been his biggest downfall. As far as the major goes, I would have to guess if he had any shot at any of them, it would have to be the Augusta.
First one.
That's the one he's going to make the move. But beyond that, these courses are getting pretty tough, even with this explosive equipment they've got out today. You got to be, not only with good equipment, you got to be really, really, really ready, mentally and physically.
Okay, Augusta always is one of the major sites. The other three this year are the U.S. Open. In June will be at Oakmont, in Pittsburgh. You got Royal Troon a couple, 3 weeks later over in the U.K. And then back to Baltusrol, Jack.
At the end of July.
For PGA Championship. Baltusrol, I think they've had almost as many majors as Marion and Oakmont. I mean, they've had, this will be, I think, the third PGA.
Yep.
And they've had seven opens. The last time they had the PGA there was 05, and Mickelson won. Is that a venue suitable to Tiger's game? It's a lower course, too.
Well, it is.
Not the upper course. They have two there.
In 2005, Tiger finished fourth. That's 10 years ago.
Right.
Just like Bobby said, you know, I personally don't see Tiger doing any majors. If he's going to do anything, Augusta's where he's played the best. But the last 2 years, he's tied for 17th in 15 and 14.
Yeah. So it's trending the wrong way.
It's trending the wrong way. Plus, I don't think he's going to be ready to play come April because he just physically can't do it anymore. I don't think.
Right. You have a story from Baltusrol, what, 05 when Mickelson won?
First, on the subject of Tiger, that is a high mileage vehicle in the parlance of car dealers. Not only is he not going to win a major,
Kick the tires and they may blow up. Right?
He's said in the last few days there is no timetable for him coming back. I'm not even sure he's going to play in 2016.
He sounded like he wanted to play with his kids' soccer.
I know. But my favorite story from the 2005 PGA, I was there, didn't involve Phil, the winner. It involved a local club pro from Philadelphia, Rich Steinmetz.
Oh, sure.
Very good player.
Springford
Country Club, head club pro. He was 33 years old. He got into the PGA. It was a big, big deal, as you can imagine. He went up on Sunday before PGA week, drove his car up to play a practice round. Parks, the club is empty. He parks his car in the parking lot, plays the practice round, and when he comes out, they issue him his courtesy vehicle for the week. And so, wow, he's got a courtesy car. So he's got to do something with his car. And he says to the guard at the parking lot at Baltusrol, "What should I do with my car?" And he said, "Yeah, leave it. It's fine, right there. Just leave it." Because he was coming back tomorrow. He comes back tomorrow. His car is gone. Not only is his car gone, there's a Buick in the spot where he was yesterday, and there was a placard that said "Reserved for Tiger Woods." His car, he had parked, and what would become?
Unbeknownst that overnight they were going to put a plaque up.
He had no idea. The guard had no idea.
So where was the car?
He towed it. And afterward, poor Rich said, "Who would have known?"
Did he at least get a check? He got a check, didn't he?
No, he played 2 days, and they wished him well, and I'm sure he watched the rest of the week.
So that's the closest he ever got to Tiger Woods, probably, right? Rich Steinmetz parking in his parking space.
He still laughs about it to this day, by the way.
Great story. We'll have to remind him of that. All right, Rich, hope everything's all right with the cars. We'll be back. Inside Golf continues in just a moment.
The Valley Forge Casino Resort is the region's only full amenity gaming resort, and it's only seconds from the Pennsylvania Turnpike at King of Prussia. It features 600 slots, 50 table games, and there are nearly 500 guest rooms, plus 8 restaurants designed to meet all of your dining needs. So put the beautiful Valley Forge Casino Resort on your destination list. Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine, published by former Eagles tight end Ken Dunnick, is everything you want in a publication catering to men's interest. Enjoy articles on politics, business, the mob, wine, food, fitness, and travel. Written by the likes of George Anastasia, Bill Lyon, Sam Carchidi, and Mike Kern. Want to grow your business? Ask for information on our Legacy and Chairman Clubs. They meet regularly and can be a valuable tool for your company. Subscriptions are only $20 a year for 6 issues. They're available at jerseymanmagazine.com.
Along with being stewards of the game of golf, your local PGA professional wears many hats.
We are teachers.
We are players.
We are managers.
We are merchandisers.
And community leaders.
but we all wear one badge.
PGA professionals are well-trained experts who work hard to share the joy of golf with our neighbors for over 90 years. To find your local PGA professional, visit phillypga.com. Brought to you by the Philadelphia Section of the PGA.
We are the experts in the game and business of golf.
All right, it's time to wrap up this week's edition of Inside Golf. This is an appropriate exercise. Brett, what are these fellows doing right here?
So these are fairly traditional box jumps. You'll recognize this as a high-level plyometric maneuver. We're also doing 90-degree rotation with it too. Remember, the golf swing is a power move. It's the equivalent to throwing a shot put, so we need to train for it.
That's why these tour pros are hitting, not just tour pros, but amateurs are hitting it 300 plus yards routinely, right?
That's right.
It's amazing. It's not always the equipment, it's the body that leads.
That's right. Leg drive with rotation.
You know what this reminds me of? A drill like this and some of the other things we've seen. You know, the NFL Combine puts potential draft picks through all these physical exercises. I mean, the vertical jump here, what these guys are doing, but it's all, as you say, to develop for a golf swing, not for playing football. But it's amazing how, you know, you get the two of sports almost overlapping in terms of how people are training to compete.
Right, absolutely.
Give us and our viewers a way of getting in touch with you people. I know you got a website, you're on Facebook. Give us all the addresses.
So our website is gpinj.com. We're at gpinj on Twitter. We're on Instagram and Facebook at gpinj as well.
And you're conveniently located right off 295 and Route 38 in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. It's a pleasure to be over here. You know, be honest with you, I wish I was 18 or 19 and could do these sort of things on a regular basis. Brett, a pleasure. Thanks for having us. And that's going to do it for this week's edition of Inside Golf. Hope you check in with the Golf Performance Institute in Mount Laurel. Sign up with these guys and they'll make your golf experience a lot better. I'm Harry Donahue. Remember, no matter how bad it's going for you out there, don't pick up, jump up. We'll see you next time on Inside Golf.
Inside Golf, presented by Destination Montco Golf. 54 courses, 300,000 yards. Check them out at montcogolf.com. By Jersey Man Magazine, it's a Jersey way of life, and Philly Man Magazine, bringing it to Broad Street. And by the Philadelphia Section PGA, experts in the game and business of golf.